Everybody is talking about the metaverse as something that's going to happen in the future, but there's an argument to be made that Roblox has already built a metaverse. What do you think?
I think we've started, and it goes back to how exciting it is to have a company in this space that I think is ultimately got so many years of growth to it and is a new category following other types of technologies. There's still so much innovation to be done, and there's so much invention to be done in this category that it's mind-boggling.
The critics think that metaverse, the term, is just marketing. How do you respond to that?
This type of technology is much more difficult than the net or the web, which was another huge thing that we saw predicted and has started to come. But I think we're seeing early signs of it.
When Mark Zuckerberg announced his plan to own the metaverse and change Facebook's name to Meta as if it was something new, did that kind of bother you?
No, of course not. It's really hard to predict in 5 to 10 or 20 years what are the companies that really figure it out? And there's so many elements of innovation that are needed. Having a UGC community, one of our strengths, we think that's like a huge starting point for us, but we're early in our quest for innovation here.
Roblox has built a huge business selling Robux. Does this evolve into a much bigger marketplace?
It was this revelation that people would ultimately make a living on platforms like this that started this digital currency. It's very Roblox-centric in that we're a systems company or a utility, so it has formed this robust economy. It's allowed us to keep Roblox is free for the vast majority.
Would Roblox ever partner with some of these other companies working on the metaverse, whether it is Meta or Unity or Epic or Microsoft?
The core technology of how are we going to ultimately support 50,000 people in real time on a phone, going to a concert together and waving at your friends. I think that's going to be a lot of engineering work that each company is going to be working on, and it's going to be really hard. As far as ultimately, can an avatar go from one place to another? I think there'll be lightweight ways of starting to think about that.
So what role do you think Apple and Android should play in the metaverse? Or would their policies need to change to really support this vision?
The biggest thing we would take advantage of if it were to happen is a change in those store fees. We stay out of it. We let Google and Apple kind of run their businesses. But when we think about more and more developers making a living on platforms like us and having to build stuff, if those store fees were to change, we would move most of that money back to our developers.